how to change the water pump in a 97 Buick Lesabre. So there's your serpentine belt. There's the water pump right there. Before you take your belt off, you're going to want to get these 4 bolts off. So they're 8mm on my car. After you get them off, you can go ahead, get on the tensioner here at a 15mm wrench and push that towards the car. Take this belt off, set it to the side. Then over here, I took the plug out of my radiator, which is down on this side, and I drained it, as you can see, my bucket down there. So we're going to take this belt off, then we're going to pull this pulley off because I already took the bolts off, and then we'll be at our water pump. Okay, so I got my belt off, pulled my pulley off. It's pretty simple to do. Just put my hands back there and pulled it off. Pull that out of there. So there's our water pump right there. You can see the leaks all around this one. Probably turn the light on here. You can see it's leaking pretty bad. So I think there's like 8 bolts on there. I'm gonna go ahead and pull those off. Pull that out. Before we can pull out our water pump, because of this one bolt right here on it, we gotta pull off this pulley down here, or at least loosen it enough so we can move it out of the way. So I took off one bolt out of there. There's holes in it, you can see. You just put your 1/2-inch socket through there, through the hole, and you can get the bolt right here and turn the socket. You can fill one down in the bottom right there. I didn't even take that one out all the way, I just loosened it a lot and then dropped this down a little bit so it's out of the way, like that. So we'll let it rest there like that. Should be good. And now I can get to my bolts and pull this thing off. So when you take these bolts out, you're gonna get a coolant coming out of here, so make sure you got a bucket underneath there. See, so make sure there's a bucket underneath there. Got my bolts out, pulled my pump off. Looking old as hell. So we're gonna clean this up, scrape the old gasket off, and then prep the other thing to slide back on here. So okay, so I got my gasket all off of there. Now I'm gonna put some gasket maker sealant in between my gasket and my water pump here, just a little thin layer before I stick it in place. Alright, so I've got my gasket in place on here. Now I'm going to put another thin layer around here before I attach it back where it goes. Okay, so I got my gasket on with another layer of grease on it, and I cleaned up my bolts here with some steel wool before I put them back in. I got some high temp thread sealant, so it there you go, prevents leakage. That'll be important to put on there, make the bolts not rust and everything. Alright, so I got my big bolts back into place here with the sealant on them. Got that back in place, got my bolts all tight. Now I just got to put the power steering pump back in place, which was those 2 bolts through the pulley, and then just put the serpentine belt back on, and I'll be good to go. So I'll go ahead and put the bolts on the power steering pump now. Okay, so I got my pulley back on there. Pretty simple. And then on front of the water pump here, you gotta take your other pulley, put those 4 bolts back on it, hook it back on there. And remember, you're not going to be able to get those too tight until you put the serpentine belt back on. Okay, so I got my belt on. So starting from the alternator, it goes straight down, loops around that, loops around the bottom one, comes up under this one, loops up to the tensioner, and then loops down and around the last pulley on the bottom and back up. So that's how you do it. To put it on, I didn't put it on the alternator up here. I pushed the tensioner forward, and then that's where I put the slack up on there. That's how I got it on there. So that's it. Thanks for watching my video. Like, subscribe if I helped you. That'll help me out. Good luck.